Hi, Robin here from Exploring Vacations, and we join you today from our offices, but today we've given you the opportunity to look out into the Irish countryside and the Irish weather outside. Sadly, after a wonderful summer of lots of sunshine, the rain has arrived, so we anticipate the rain to be with us for a number of months before the sun comes again in the spring. I'm joined today by one of the longest serving members of Exploring Vacations. This is Gary Gorman, who's been with us for probably longer than anyone else at the moment. He started with the company as a private driver, chauffeur, then went in to become a travel advisor, and now works in the finance department. We're going to talk to you today about private escorted tours, so I thought the person who's been here one of the longest was the best person to speak to. So we hope that we can answer some of your questions in relation to those of you who are thinking about coming on a private chauffeur tour. Now, as ever, we have a wonderful offer for you. I have a really good one this week, and it's for 39 people, and I'll tell you about that in a couple of minutes after we get to the end of the questions. So make sure you stick to the video till the end, and I'll tell you about that wonderful offer. So, Gary, we'll just talk casually about the tours and just try and answer some of the questions that our viewers might have, and just cast your mind back to the old days when you were on the road for us. I mean, typically, people who are thinking of a private tour may also be considering a coach tour, being that both of those products don't necessitate you to drive. So typically, what is the difference between a coach tour, a group coach tour with 20 people versus a private tour with your own driver?
Well, I suppose one of the major differences is the cost. The private escorted tours are tailored to the customer's exact needs. So if they want to have a very winding route through unusual areas, or they want to go to family locations, they can tailor it to suit themselves. The driver is going to be always one of the local guys, and compared to a coach tour, you're on with a few different strangers, but they're a small group, but they do follow a set itinerary. Now, saying that, compared to the large group tours, the small groups will go to smaller areas, get into more off the beaten path areas, as well as some of the bigger areas. So you kind of get the best of both worlds in that. The advantage of the escorted tour is that you can tailor it to suit what you want to do and where you want to go. But either option suits different people.
So it's essentially a bespoke product that you can tailor for whatever way you want. And Gary mentioned there, in relation to getting to family areas, a lot of our visitors, and maybe you have Irish ancestry or British ancestry, and we have had some success over the years getting people into the parishes where their ancestors came from, which is really novel, and sometimes even managing to introduce them to long lost cousins that they didn't even know they had. So, okay, Gary, the obviously a major part of a private tour is the driver. Can you tell our visitors how good are these guys, and they're driver guides, but what do they do? What can someone expect when they jump into the car at Dublin Airport or Shannon Airport? What can they expect from these guys?
Well, I suppose one of the stereotypes of Ireland is chatty, friendly, kind of helpful people. Not all stereotypes are true, but that is one of the ones that we're proud to say it is true. The guys that work on the road, they're the friendliest guys. They're from Ireland. They've travelled every little by road, so as you're driving along, they'll tell you about Mary that lives down that road, and they know absolutely every corner of the country. Great fun guys. They tend to get on very easily with every customer, so it's a lot of fun and a lot of knowledge there as well, so you've got a great balance.
The best in the business. We like to think they're very qualified. Like Gary says, Ireland is, and Britain, but Ireland to a stronger degree. It's a small country, so you kind of bump into people you know everywhere, and the drivers, because they're on the road so much, do tend to know everybody. One that we get asked a lot, I think people, particularly people who are planning for larger groups of private tours, because we can do any size. And there's a lot of responsibility, I suppose, to the person who's booking the tour, because they've got concerns that when they get here, is everything going to be as they anticipated it would be? But in terms of the vehicles, that's one that comes up a lot. People are sometimes concerned, what type of vehicle are they going to travel in? They're going to be in it a lot. They want to be comfortable. Gary, if you can tell our visitors, what type of vehicles do we use at Exploring Vacations, and what can our visitors expect when they're getting on those vehicles at the airport, and where they're going to spend a considerable amount of time during their touring holiday?
Yeah, it's a good question. The vehicles are all luxury touring vehicles, so they've a lot of Mercedes. They're all very new vehicles, very comfortable, air-conditioned. And one thing that we do is always put more seats than people, because a lot of people over the years we've found everyone wants a window seat. We'll always give people the luxury of having access to a window, or not to be all crammed in on top of each other. Like you'd find on some of the larger coach tours, you're right in beside somebody, and everyone tends to work in habits, so you're always getting back into the same seat. The luxury vehicles have a lot of space. They're lots of luggage space as well, so they're the best in the business. You're going to be very, very comfortable on our tours, any tour, whether it's escorted or a coach tour.
I mean, that, I think back in the day, you've mentioned before that when you were driving, that we would meet visitors obviously at the arrivals hall, but then the driver goes away to pick up the vehicle, to pick up the visitors outside the terminal building. And you've mentioned on many occasions that once they get in, there's an element of relief. They see that the driver's there and they're in a wonderful vehicle, and on they go and have a wonderful time. But the vehicles are top end. We don't use any substandard ones. You touched on some of these points when you answered the first question, Gary. But just overall, what are the main benefits for someone who's teetering between a coach tour and a private tour? They're not really sure which way they're going to go. Obviously, I think next week we're going to cover coach tours, so we'll discuss the strong benefits that has over private. But where does private win over coach tours at the moment?
Really, the beauty of it is you can have it for as many people as you want. You can go exactly where you want to go for as long as you want to be there. So a lot of people would go past some of the central counties. And a lot of the coach tours as well, they do that too. Our ones do go into the central counties, but if you have family history in a small abstract village somewhere in Ireland, it's brilliant. You can go down there. You can also, as you meander through the country, the driver will be able to get to know you and say, I hear you're interested in such a thing, yeah. And they'll veer off the course and bring you to where it suits you. Whereas with coach tours, it's not as easy to do that. It's not impossible, but it's not as easy, and it's tailored around the customer. The beauty of it is that everyone's flexible, well, as flexible as possible, and for that reason it beats all tours, because you have your driver, you have his knowledge, you've got a luxury vehicle and the freedom to do what you want to do.
So a major part of it is the pure flexibility. I mean, the tour is whatever way you want it to be, and that's really, when you're dealing with our travel advisors here, with any one of them, that they'll bring you through, build it with you exactly as you want, and they'll be discussing what your interests are. And like Gary says, and the drivers are very adept at getting to know you very quickly and getting a feel for what it is you want to do and what you'd like to see. So, okay, so I hope that's answered some of your questions in relation to private touring. And in the event that it hasn't, please feel free to respond to the email that you've received this video in and ask us any questions that you'd like answered, or indeed just ask your travel advisor and they'll be happy to answer them for you. Last week we did get a couple of questions in relation to the insurance policy on the car for self-drive tours, and there is seems to be some confusion around that. When you get to Ireland, you will be offered a kind of super insurance. Now, you don't need to take it, and in fact many people don't take it, but the basic difference between taking it and not taking it is in the excess and the policy in the event that something gets damaged in the car. So if you don't take it and the car gets damaged, you're liable for the first €1,200 worth of damage. But if it was only €50 worth of damage, you're only liable for the 50. If you take the super insurance, it basically covers you regardless what condition the hire car comes back in. It's a decision you don't need to make until you get here, but when you get here at the counter, the staff at the rental desk will offer it to you, and then you can decide whether or not you want it. If that doesn't answer the question, please give us a call and we can go through it in greater detail. Now, I said to you that I would give you a great offer. We have a great offer for you this month, which is for 38 bookings. The next 38 bookings, we can afford to give a 10% discount. Now, in addition to the 10% discount on the tour, we're also going to give two other items that I hope gives you great value. This is the Heritage Island Guide, which we will be giving free also. It gives you up to about €300, about $500 worth of discount passes, half price, 2 for 1, etc. in the attraction sites all over Ireland. And we're also going to include a Horizon tax-free shopping card, which in terms of you can't buy these, they don't essentially have a value, but it makes claiming tax back on your gift purchases while you're in Ireland a little bit more straightforward for you. So when you make your purchases here, you can get some money back when you leave Ireland on any gifts you've purchased. It's basically sales tax that's put on here by retailers. You can claim that back. So it's the first 38 bookings or before 6 p.m. Friday. To be honest, those 38 will probably go today. We won't last till Friday. But in the unlikely event that's to happen, this offer ends 6 p.m. Friday. Remember, like I said before, if your itinerary is not yet completed, it doesn't matter. You can benefit from this offer by contacting your travel advisor now. You can lock in the benefit and then we can continue working on your itinerary for you. Again, if you're working with a travel advisor, we assume you are coming to Ireland or the UK, so take this benefit. I mean, there is no risk. You get it's a €20 or $30 deposit we take from you, which is refundable in the event that you decide the tour is not for you. We'll refund that money entirely. There's absolutely no risk because there's nothing to lose by locking in this discount as quick as you can. And again, just a few of the differences. We're here in Ireland and the UK. We're on the ground. We know our countries intimately. Our staff are here on the ground. We're open 7 days a week. No one else is. We'll support you while you're in the country and when you're outside the country. And essentially, we carry more small groups than any other tour operator servicing Ireland and Britain in the world. So we hope you found that helpful. Like I say, if you have any feedback, let us know. It's been great talking to you. Make sure you lock in that discount. You need to call us toll free on 1-888-451-3744 or email your travel advisor direct and just say you want to lock in that discount. So again, 1-888-451-3744, 10% discount and the tax-free card and the heritage guide for the next 38 bookings. For now, from Gary, thanks very much for all you do. For all of you, thanks very much for watching and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you and goodbye.